Hey, how's it going? It's Keith Townsend from the CTO Advisor. We're wrapping up some great coverage at VMworld 2018. We're in the Delano talking to industry luminaries, folks from SAP, VMware, OVH, just industry leading innovators. And the conversations, I think this is probably, Chris, this is going to be one of the capstone conversations. Chris Wolf, Global CTO of Field and Industry?
Yes.
SVP or VP?
VP.
You know, I'm projecting out there. I'm projecting. There's a VMware is growing like crazy. I joined VMware 7 weeks ago, and the fire hose has been amazing. Even before VMworld, and at VMworld, I've had Milan Desai on. I've had Yangbing Leon, leaders of the cloud services BU, and then the storage and availability BU separately. And this has been a great conference for both of them. The announcements on bookends have been amazing. Let's talk about the big picture. As you're looking at the overall enterprise, what's exciting? What's most pick your favorite child? I'm giving you, is it vSAN, cloud services? Who's your favorite child?
How about it? What if I say neither?
Okay.
It dovetails into the story. What really excites me, and I mean, some of this is biased because my team has been laser focused on landing cloud services on vSphere for a couple of years now.
Right.
And 2 years ago, if you went to me and said, or if I went to you and said, you know what, we're gonna do this thing where we're gonna ensure a native developer experience, but we're still gonna let the ops teams use their tools and policies of choice, you'd have been like, yeah, okay, that utopia doesn't exist.
Exactly.
Right? But here we are with developers using an AWS console or AWS APIs to deliver RDS Prem, integrating a vSphere cluster as a new custom availability zone. And they're able to use their tools of choice and be native. I can do that with Kubernetes today as well, right? My ops team still gets that consistent policy. We can abstract all of that from the software developers. We're doing some pretty magical things, not just in open source, but with our cloud provider partners too.
So that announcement surprised me. We caught each other in the hallway, and so I'm really excited about what this RDS on vSphere means. But if I think back, I've given you guys, and when I say you guys, it's now us, a lot of business about moving at the speed of the CIO, which I said just isn't fast enough. This any cloud, this any app, any cloud, any device. The any device thing, that's great. Workspace ONE is really mature, and there's a lot of value in that. I could always buy the any device argument. The any app on any cloud was one of those things that I'm like, I just don't. That vSphere everywhere, like this vCloud Foundation is great, but that won't work in every application setting. But the ability to bring the cloud service to vSphere is game changing. My mind just started to race, and I should have known better to look at Pat, x86 chip designer. I'm calling vSphere now the x86 of cloud.
I like it.
Push back on me.
No, I mean, look, there's always going to be some native and proprietary cloud pieces, and we're going to manage around that
Right.
whatever we can, what's in our control. But we're seeing more customers starting to say, you know what, I want to have control of this part of the intellectual property of the stack, so I'm going to use Kubernetes for that, and I'll have maintain all that flexibility running it on VMware. And also, I want to be able to have more flexibility in moving services to where perhaps the data exists, or maybe there's a legacy application component. And it's easy to be a purist and say I should just rewrite all my apps for the cloud.
Right.
But the business realities of that are, I've taken 3 years to port something where I could have been innovating and driving new business value, right?
No net new functionality.
Right.
Just reporting to satisfy the needs of IT.
Right.
That's a lot of talent sitting on something that's not innovating while your competitors are disrupting. It's a legit problem. But at the same time, let's talk about when the announcement a couple of years ago when VMware announced VMware Cloud on AWS. A lot of the naysayers, which initially I was one of them. I can admit to that. Like, this is just a checkbox for some CIO or CTO that needs to move to cloud. What has VMware and AWS proven contrary to that concept?
Yeah, I think a couple things. First, it's good. You know what? If I can move to cloud and I can save my company a bunch of money because I don't have to re-platform the app, and I can integrate with native AWS services. Like I talked to a customer today that was saying, you know what, we wanted to move this app stack to the cloud, but we actually get more favorable licensing using AWS RDS service. So they were able to migrate the database. They were able to AWS native. They were able to then pull in the front end app and put that on VMC. And now they're getting the best of both worlds, and they didn't have to rewrite any code to do it. That's very, very powerful, and it's very cost efficient. So, just because you can do something doesn't mean you need to. We have other customers taking their traditional apps now and starting to look at integrating them with AWS Lambda to add more instrumentation and automation around the apps as well. So again, that's more business value in terms of that core app I migrated. I didn't have to rewrite a single line of code.
So I talked to Millen about the acquisition of Cloud Health. He's very proud of that acquisition. Tell me about the strategic value to the enterprise of having a company like Cloud Health in the portfolio of VMware.
It's fairly sophisticated solution. We're pretty excited about it, even in terms of the modeling that we can do in terms of helping customers make decisions on how to land different applications and services on different clouds. Having that central view across our different clouds we think is really important. And the other part of the VMware strategy is we're trying to be very pragmatic. There's solutions out there that are going to claim to do everything for the cloud, and customers don't want that.
Right.
They don't want the cloud at the lowest common denominator, right? But the work we've done with NSX Cloud to have that common network and security plane, if you look at the cloud automation services that we've launched, we can add a lot more governance and a lot more instrumentation around clouds, and even for our customers or our partners, they can start to put up custom storefronts, and a lot of flexibility there in how they can actually leverage the cloud or multiple clouds to expose a lot of innovation. So there's a lot of things happening there, but we're trying to be very deliberate in saying, look, here are the things, or we're listening to our customers. Like even look at being able to do, monitor compliance across multiple clouds, right? These are things that they really care about, are near and dear to them. They're investing in them, and we're delivering on those areas.
So one of the pain points that have been out there, I've made some pretty wild predictions as an analyst. One of them has been AWS absolutely needs to get to the edge. I think the ability now to run AWS services and more services on the edge and in the data center satisfies that need. The other piece is that the simplicity that they bring by outsourcing the control plane is super valuable. I kind of predicted that they would buy a traditional IT vendor that has the skill to deploy to the edge and put the green grass services, the snowball edge type services out to the edge on that platform. VMware, we made an announcement yesterday that kind of flipped that on the side. ESXi on the edge on ARM managed by vSphere. That vSphere instances managed by VMware. Talk to the significance of that announcement.
Yeah, there's a couple of things. The ARM announcement is about a go-to-market through our OEM partners, where we're seeing a number of customers, like even for use cases like gateway consolidation as an example, where they have different ARM systems that live at the edge. Our partners in the automotive industry and the ecosystem of vendors around there, healthcare, manufacturing. There's a lot of ARM really creeping into these use cases, and there's a lot of use cases for multi-tenancy, for being able to have more flexibility, for consolidation of these devices that we see a lot of excitement. And also the problem with a lot of the ARM-based solutions is there is no resiliency baked into them. So again, if you go back to the purists, they're like, oh, well, it's a new application on ARM, so it's not a big deal. Well, actually it is, because you have a new device management challenge, number one, and number two, even something like AWS Greengrass, if I deploy that on ARM, if that device fails, I'm offline.
Yeah, your whatever that control plane is whether it's control plane or gateway, that's offline.
Right. So the fact that we can add resiliency to these applications at the edge at a very low cost, we think is extremely exciting. And then if you take the further use case, though, for something like Greengrass, if I put that on x86 on VMware, I get the VMware high availability and all that good stuff, but then I can also connect that into NVIDIA GPUs. So if I want to do deep learning inference, as an example, I'm going to have that capability as well, so I can really up the horsepower for the workloads that require it.
So let's talk about, last question, let's talk about skill advancement and career. One of the questions I got on Twitter about the edge solution, one of the traditional vSphere administrators, engineers asked, wait, if VMware is managing my on-prem, they were saying, if VMware is managing my own on-prem vSphere, what am I going to do? That seems to put a lot of vSphere admins out of jobs. Your response?
IT is always evolving. You know, I might have shared this with you before. I mean, I used to do repairs of electronic circuit boards. That's a job that doesn't exist anymore.
Right.
So we have to evolve. The expectation for businesses is that your on-prem infrastructure should be able to be as resilient, as available, as current as what they can get through a public cloud. So the world is definitely heading in this direction. Part of what we're looking to do with our VMware admins is start to turn them into site reliability engineers. To really take on a new skill set where they're more policy-based, they're doing more automation, they're integrating with a variety of developer services and maybe a developer service mesh, so they're exposing all those services below that. There is plenty to do that doesn't involve having to upgrade a hypervisor anymore. So, and I think they're starting to see that across our different product set and the opportunities that they have, and we are really investing in training and education to make sure that, you know, our core, as this evolves, right, they have the expertise. They know how to operate very complex technologies in lots of different crazy places, right? So this is their world. They're going to still be able to own it, but they're going to be doing slightly different things most likely in the future.
Yeah, we had SAP on earlier today talking about the relationship between SAP and VMware, and they were really excited with the opportunity to automate SAP deployment landscapes inside of vSphere, the expertise needed to do that automation, to do the integration work between SAP on-prem, SAP off-prem, Leonardo. So, you know, you have Leonardo running on edge devices managed by VMware. That's a lot of complexity. So SRE seems like the perfect type of role for a skill set that's over the past 20 years has developed, and I don't think it'll be wasted at all.
Right. I mean, most of our VMware admins, even 10 to 15 years ago, they weren't doing what they're doing today, right? They were doing something much different. So, you know, we'll continue to see that evolution.
Really appreciate you being on the CTO Dose. I'm really excited about working at VMware, and again, working with our partners from Microsoft to AWS to all of the traditional hardware partners, hardware and services partners. If you want to find out more about the CTO Advisor and CTO Dose, go to ctodose.com to see this video and other videos, the ones that I mentioned that we had earlier in the week. Until then, talk to you on Twitter at CTO Advisor on Twitter. And Chris is CS Wolf on Twitter, right?
That's right.
CS Wolf on Twitter. Talk to you soon.